Okay, welcome back to another terminal challenge. This one is the Linux primer, which is by the Sugarplum elf out in the courtyard where all the sponsor booths are. This one is basically intro to Linux command line, just tasks you with common things that you would do on a command line, and you basically solve a bunch of mini challenges that it asks you to do, and you'll get some hints for the real objective for Sugarplum. So pretty straightforward introductory type Linux stuff. And if you get stuck, there is a hint me binary that you can run, and it will give you a hint. So we've got a progress bar down here that will fill up as we complete these tasks. So to begin, we'll type yes, and it says perform a directory listing of the home directory. So that's essentially where we are right now. This tilde indicates typically that that you're in your home directory. So all we have to do is to perform a directory listing is the ls command, and that will show you the files in your current directory, which is our home directory. So now it says find the munchkin inside the munchkin. So the first thing I did was I saw this munchkin file, and I wanted to see what that was. I didn't know if it was a binary that we had to run or if it was just a text file, and it is. It's just ASCII text. So I catted that file with the cat command, which just prints out whatever's in the file. Okay, so now it's asking to remove the munchkin in the home directory. So for that, we're going to use the rm command, and that's to remove a file, or can also remove directories. So we'll type rm, and then we'll do the munchkin file to remove that. Now, if you're not aware, tab complete is a thing. So if based on your path and your environment, if, for example, you're running a command that you're inputting a parameter for that, say a file, and that file exists, it can find it, you can hit tab and it will complete the rest of that file for you, just typing it out. So for example, if I started typing workshop or W and hit tab, since workshop is the only file or directory in this current directory that starts with a W, it'll tab complete that for me. So tab complete's huge, saves a lot of time for you when you're in a command line. So we'll do rm munchkin, hit enter, that deletes that. And now we want to print the present working directory using a command. So we want to print out to the command line the path of the directory that we're in, also known as the current working directory. And so for that, we have a command very aptly named pwd, or print working directory. So we just type that, hit enter, and now we print that we're in the /home/elf directory. Okay, good job, but it looks like another munchkin hit itself in the home directory. So if we type ls, we can't see any munchkin related files. They're saying it's in the home directory. And so typically, so files that start with a dot don't show up in regular ls commands. You have to specify ls-l to see those hidden files. So if we do that, excuse me. Oh man, it's not on here. So it might be, you need a in there as well. Yeah, you do. Okay. So so ls-l is going to list out in this format, and then -a is going to give you more information. But actually, here we go. Okay, so -a, do not ignore entries starting with a dot. So that's going to show everything. So that's a typical way to hide, like if you're working in a code repository and you've got files and directories that you're not commonly accessing, you can just name those starting with a period, and that will just hide them from regular directory listings. And sometimes, yeah, it's a poor way of hiding things, but it's also a way just to make it easier on the eyes in terms of what you're seeing. If you, like for example, .git, the git directory in a repository starts obviously with a dot and it's hidden because you don't really ever access that directory directly. So, and then -L, let's see, lowercase l, use a long listing format. So, okay, so we also could have just done ls-a. I always do ls-la. That way you get all these details here, the long listing format, and then you also see the files with dot in front of them. So anyway, we found the hidden munchkin. It's .munchkin here. All right, so now it says find the munchkin in your command history. So we are running some sort of a shell right now, and we can see right here that we have bash underscore history, which indicates that we're running most likely bash right now. So typically the standard setup for bash is that your commands are being logged into this .bash underscore history file. Now, side tip, if you ever want a command to not be logged into that, just add any sort of spacing before the command. So like, let's say I type ls, that's going to get logged into the bash history file. But if I type space ls, it actually will not get logged into the bash history, nor will you be able to see it as you arrow up to obviously your history. So that's just a nice tip to realize. If, like, let's say you're typing a password in a command or something and you don't want that logged to bash history, just put a space in front of that command and it won't get put into that file. But anyway, so it's saying find the munchkin in our command history. So if we just cat out, or let's just take a look at bash history. I'm going to vim into it. Oh, I guess that's the only thing in there. That's kind of sad. Okay, well anyway, typically this would show all of the commands that you had run in your session, so you would see a lot more than this, but it's just got that one echo command, so that technically solves that challenge. But normally I would have just catted bash history if it was very long, and then done a grep for like munchkin. But anyway, so that challenge is solved. You can see our progress bars filling up with these lollipops here. And now it wants us to find munchkin in environment variables. So environment variables are variables that you can set for your user, for system-wide. They're basically variables that store information pertinent to the system's operation. Path is example of an environment variable, and that just determines where the system is going to look for certain binaries. Another example of environment variables are storing secrets, so like database passwords, API tokens, stuff like that for like an application server to run. Rather than having them in plain text, they'll store them in memory in the environment variables, which is known to be a little bit more secure than having them as a text file. Okay, so now it says that we want to find munchkin in the environment variables, so you can use the env command, and that's going to print out all your environment variables. So we can pipe that into grep and then search for munch. And as you can see, it comes up with the z_munchkin variable, and that's assigned to this value here. So that solves that challenge. If you do just type env, you'll see you get all your environment variables, which includes things like your current working directory, your home directory, the shell that you're running, bin bash, the path, stuff like that. Okay, so now it says head into the workshop. So if we do an ls, we have a directory. We know that because it's colored blue, but also if we do that long listing, we can see that this is labeled as a directory in these details here. D means directory. A dash is just a file. So we can cd into that. Cd is change directory. Go right into workshop. So now that solves that challenge. And then it says a munchkin is hiding in one of the workshop toolboxes. Use grep while ignoring case to find which toolbox the munchkin is in. So grep is a great searching tool. You can, and I actually use this, in day-to-day work, where let's say you're trying to find reference to a specific variable or a string, and you want to search like a massive repository to find what file that's in, or maybe there's a function call that you're trying to find. So you can use grep and search through an entire directory and find those files that that string is in. So for this, we'll use grep. We'll do -r. That's recursive, so if there's any subdirectories, it'll search those too. We'll also tack on the I flag. That means insensitive search, so it's not going to factor in case, meaning if we're searching for Munchkin, it'll search for lowercase Munchkin, uppercase Munchkin, and anywhere in between, so ignoring case. And then we'll specify dot for the current directory. So start here and drill down. And then we're searching, our search term is Munchkin, so we'll just type that in, and oops, I think I mixed up the order here. So we want Munchkin and then dot. Yep. So it's grep, your parameters, your search term, and then your search path, so dot. Okay, a Munchkin is blocking the lollipop engine from starting. Okay. So lollipop engine is a executable. Let's take a look at the permissions here. So the reason it can't start is because it does not have a X here for executable. So all we need to do to get that going is do chmod, which is going to change the permissions on this binary, and we're going to do +X to add the executable permission to this. And we'll do we'll specify the file, which is lollipop_engine. And then if we do another ls, we can see that everyone is able to execute this this binary now. So we can run it by typing / and then the name of the binary, and that solves that challenge. Okay, so now it says the Munchkins have blown the fuses in this directory, cd into electrical, and rename blown fuse to fuse 0. So this is a very simple task. We're just renaming a file. So let's first cd into electrical. We can see that we've got one file, blown_fuse 0, and we need to rename that to fuse 0. So to do that, we use the mv command. That's the move command. You're able to move files and directories to other places on the system, and you can also rename files with it. So we'll type the existing file name and the name we want to rename it to. So blown fuse to fuse 0, and if we do another ls, it's now fuse 0. Okay, so make a symbolic link, symlink to named fuse 1 that points to fuse 0. Okay, so for this, we're going to use ln with the -s flag. That's for symbolic link, and we are going to specify, I believe, the name of the symbolic link first, and then what we're pointing to. I could be wrong on that. Yeah, okay. So we need to specify what we're pointing to, and then also after that the name of the symbolic link. So now you can see symbolic links start with an L here. It also shows an arrow, so fuse 1, that's the file name, is pointing to fuse 0. So now it wants us to make a copy of fuse 1 named fuse 2. So this we can use the cp or copy command. Fuse 1 is our existing file, and fuse 2 is going to be the copy that we're creating. Okay, and now we want to add characters here, Munchkin repellent, into the file fuse 2. So this we can use the echo command. We're going to echo Munchkin_repellent, and we will use 2 of these greater than symbols. So one of them would override the entire contents of the fuse 2 file. 2 of them will simply append it to the end. So then if we cat fuse 2, which I think is like a type of binary file. I don't know, just some sort of data. Okay, so now you can see that Munchkin repellent was placed at the end rather than overwriting the file. Okay, so now it says find the Munchkin somewhere in opt Munchkin den. So let's go ahead and cd into that. Okay, so it looks like some sort of an application. So we need to find the Munchkin somewhere here. So this probably use the find command. Let's try for a hint here. Let's see. Yeah, so find. So it looks like we're trying to find a file that has Munchkin in the file name. So this we can do find dot for the current directory dash iname star munch. We'll do another star. So asterisk is wildcard. So anything before that and anything after that will be matched while ignoring case. So how do we do find ignore case? Case insensitive. Oh, to match case insensitive. So iname. Okay. So that already is case insensitive. Okay. So this we should just be able to run. Yep. And it finds it. So you can see that's, if we didn't do case insensitive, we would not have matched. But that goes ahead and finds that file for us. Now it's saying find the file somewhere in Munchkin then that is owned by the user Munchkin. So this we can still use the find command for. We can also, on top of this, specify dash user and then a username, which we're going to do Munchkin. Actually, we will get rid of this because we just want to find any file that's owned by Munchkin. Okay, and we do that. Now it says find the file created by Munchkins that is greater than 108 kilobytes and less than 110 kilobytes, located somewhere in Munchkin den. So we'll get rid of this, and we want to do dash size. So for this, we want to do less than, so we'll do dash for less than 110K for kilobytes, and then we want to do dash size greater than 108 kilobytes. Okay, and then that finds that. And now we want to list running processes to find another Munchkin. So for that, we can use PS and the parameters AUX, and that lists out all system processes. And now it's saying this process is listening on a TCP port. Use a command to have only the listening port display to the screen. So as we can see here, some sort of Python script running, and this is apparently listening on some sort of TCP port. So to list those, we can use the netstat command with the flags TULPN, and that is going to show we got TCP. Here's the port that it's listening on. State is listen. Okay. So now it's telling us that this is indeed an HTTP server. Interact with this server to retrieve the last Munchkin. So we can curl that address. We'll do the local address here. And then the port 54321. Curl is going to make a request to the index of this web server. And it curls the contents from that HTTP GET request, and those are the contents, and that solves that challenge. And now it says your final task is to stop this process that we had found earlier. So if we do another psaux, we can see this is the process that we need to stop. So to do that, we can use the kill command with the -9 flag, and this is just going to forcefully kill any process we give it. And we have to identify the process by its process ID, which is right here, 27195. That will kill this process. 27195. Hit enter, and boom. So that killed that process, and it looks like that answers all of the challenges for this terminal challenge. So at this point, you would get a pop-up here, and if you talk to Sugarplum after that, you'll get some hints for then this objective challenge, which we will be doing in another video. So let me know if you have any questions. I went through that rather quick just because it's a lot of little things to explain, so that that could take forever depending on where your knowledge is with the Linux command line. But basically the things with these, use the hints if you need them. Go Google or look up the man pages for different commands. It's always nice to know what parameters and flags and different things you can do with command line tools, because it's really just going to speed up your work in the environment. It'll allow you to do things a lot faster if you're aware of what commands and capability is available. So it never hurts to dive deep into man pages and play around with commands and get an understanding and appreciation for the different standard Linux binaries and tools out there. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.